So this morning we're headed over to Langston University to have a little adventure, get a little information over there, and I'll be able to talk to you a little bit more about Langston Lake when we get to the other side. See you in a bit. So we made it to Langston Lake. It's really quiet here this morning. Kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here. Off to my left as we're coming in is a nice pavilion. The lake is kind of quiet today. Got a slight south wind today, a little chilly out. Had a nice little ride over here. The roads weren't quite as nice as I remembered them being. And the roads back in here are all paved and pretty nice. Be a good area to have a picnic. They have some picnic grounds a little further out, picnic tables. They've got this area pretty well kept up. To the right over here is a pit toilet that they put in a few years back. This lake wasn't here when I was a kid, and I believe it was this road that you could just kind of drive right across, had a bridge, and that bridge is still underwater in Langston Lake. So this is the spot where my audio had trouble. It sounded like a demon-possessed crocodile being eaten by Bigfoot. So I have no idea what was going on. At any rate, we're on the Langston Lake, and we're under the pavilion here, looking at the area. It's a really nice area. The several picnic tables. You could have a festival here with family, a large family group, or any other kind of group that you wanted to have here. I'm sure there's a charge for the use of the pavilion. I don't know what those are. You'd have to contact the city of Langston. They're the ones that manage this property. And it would be a really nice area to have a large group gathering. So I believe what the problem is that my video has gone into slow motion, and if I learn how to correct that, I will, but that appears to be the issue, that everything's to be in slow motion, therefore the voices that I had recorded are probably distorted as well. In a minute here, we're going to take a walk down to the peninsula so that we can view the rest of the lake. As I said, I believe at this section, that the lake is about 288 square acres of size, and it is about 47 to 48 foot deep at its deepest point. It has 8.8 miles of area around the lake, and there's not any real established hiking trails, but I believe if you wanted to go hiking, that there's plenty of spots that you could get around this lake and walk around the lake and enjoy yourself. There's lots of wildlife in the area, deer, squirrels, raccoons, things of that nature. Also, there's a lot of fish in the lake, and various types, channel catfish, bass, crappie. I don't know if they stocked this lake or not. I tried to look up some information on that and couldn't find that information. I believe this lake was built somewhere around maybe the mid-70s to late 70s, because as I said, it wasn't here when I was a kid, but it's been here a good long time. And I believe it was built by the Corps of Engineers as a water supply lake for the city of Langston. And they have a water processing plant over by the dam that you can see possibly when we get on that side. And it was a really quiet morning this morning. The wind was hardly blowing. The lake was just gorgeous with it being flat as it is. And you can see it's surrounded by some pretty scenic oak trees and things of that nature that you can enjoy, and you could hike underneath. It's really nice area, especially with the upkeep that they've done on it recently. The lawns were all maintained, everything was mowed, it looked really nice. Also, that pavilion, I don't know where it's at exactly, but you'll see a video of it, has a fence around it that if you had children in the pavilion area, then they would be protected from the lake. They couldn't immediately go access the lake. That would be really safe for the adults that are there. I got to tell you, being a YouTube creator is a little difficult. It makes it look easy when you watch other people doing it on YouTube, but it's a lot more complex than what you think, especially when you have no skills at editing. So I have a whole lot of footage here that I have no voice in, but I did at the time I was recording it. So we're gonna look back down the arm of the creek here in a minute, and it was a really pretty day. It was really quiet today, and I'm sorry that I'm doing all this talking, but I have to do something because I have a lot of video and I can't edit it out and cut it shorter. If I figure out how to do that later, I will, and you won't even see any of this section because it'll all be edited out. But I'm going to be quiet right now and let you enjoy the scenery for just a moment. There's some areas coming up here that I'll jump back in and talk about. I used to work at Langston University, and when I did that, I trained a couple pack goats. What they are goats that you train to follow you, and we have little A-frames that went on them, and they carried packs. And of course, because they were trained from bottle babies to follow you wherever you went, that's what they would do. They'd follow me wherever we went. And at that time, I used to walk around this lake with them, follow me, and had a little trail that we went on. It actually came back up into this area, going back a little bit further down the creek that we're going to look at here in a minute. So this is the creek area that I was talking about. It goes back in there a little ways. Some good fishing back in there. It gets pretty shallow pretty quick the further back in there you go. Again, this is just not really a huge lake. Now, I don't know why, but I found this grass very interesting. I thought during the video I said it was pampas grass, but I'm not sure if it is. But it is pretty neat grass, and I like the looks of it, so I took video of it. This is looking back up the lake at the opposite end from the dam. So this would be the beginning of the lake. You can't quite see it from here, but it's back up in there a little ways. This is looking across the lake. You can access that through a different road. There's lots of roads that go around the lake. None of them go directly to the lake. Again, we're looking back at the pavilion area. Not exactly sure why, but there's a tree coming up here that I was enthralled by. It's just a big down cedar tree, but I figured some of the other channels that I watch, like Luke on the Outdoor Boys, could make a home under the thing, but it certainly would provide a lot of firewood for a little campfire or something like that. And I don't even know if campfire is allowed in the area, but that's a lot of dried wood there, a lot of kindling that would make a quick fire. Pretty soon we'll be coming up to the other side of the lake, and hopefully the audio over there will work properly, because I lack experience on this voiceover stuff and working properly. One last look at the pavilion, and then we'll be moving to the other side, I believe, pretty quick here. I had a really good morning riding the Ruckus over. I was able to get over here without too much difficulty. The roads are rough, and I don't know if they're rough because they're rough or because I'm on 10-inch tires. Even though they're fatter tires, they're still 10 inches, and that makes a pretty rough ride, I believe. Hopefully we can head to the other side here in a minute and take a look at the other side of the lake. And I think my audio at that point starts working properly. Like I said, I probably had this set on slow motion. That's probably the problem. By the way, the road's coming back in here all paved. Some of them aren't in good shape, but they're still paved. This is about 1.5 miles south of Langston off of Highway 33 is the way that you can find it. Here's that tree that I was talking about. I think, like I said, Luke from the Outdoor Boys could build a home underneath there, and certainly is a lot of firewood available. This is down, and there's lots of other trees in the area that are down that could be turned into firewood for a nice little campfire. As you can see, there's a lot of area that's been mowed. It's a nice little area to be down in. There's plenty of room for kids to play and for hiking and things of that nature. And as I said, and as I showed in the video earlier, you got that fence to keep kids from coming too far. Well, my audio problems continued. I thought it was interesting that we had a men's and a women's outdoor pit toilets. They were pretty nice when they're created, but those are not maintained as well. So you'd have to be pretty careful in that area. But again, on the other side of the lake now, and there's a lot more areas for walking and hiking underneath the trees and things of that nature. So again, a lot of area over here that could be used, and it's nice. Another look back at the lake from this side. Used to be an area here that I'd come over to when it was all dirt roads, and a lot of catfishing could take place over here. So I assume the catfish are still biting here. Also, when I worked for Langston University, we did catfish projects here where we had catfishes in cages in this branch of the lake. And it was really funny because we went out to feed them every day in a boat. And of course, the bigger catfish that were in the lake would come up and try to bump the boat, trying to get you to spill feed. Really fix this lake up. They've been maintaining the property really well. And like I said, there's quite a few areas that a person could come down in here, do some walking, explore nature a little bit. And it's fairly quiet. Nobody would be down here bothering you.
Looks like my audio's back, so I'll stay quiet.
But they've got a lot of area that's maintained now, and areas that you can walk along a lake and see nice little areas, view some wildlife, and just enjoy a day down here. Okay, so this is the boat ramp area. It was north and across from where we first started with this. Not too much of a boat ramp, but it's certainly usable. They got the rules of the lake. There is a charge for boating here and fishing here and day use area as well, I believe. So coming around here to the right is another set of picnic grounds. They've got it set up, and like I said, they've been maintaining this really well. Good job of mowing, good job of keeping it up. And I'm going to give a really shout out to the city of Langston. They've been doing a good job on this.